See if it looks excessive. I'm wondering. So I've squashed it quite a lot here. Let's have a look at this again. Let me press 6 to make sure. So I could have overdone it. If you want to have a look at your curves, you can always kind of, like, for example, so this is a squash and stretch. You can see it's up. You see here I've actually made this. Actually, it should be smaller each time. So here should be next to nothing. Maybe make it about the same. So this is a squash and stretch. This is which is the y-axis here. I've been controlling this up and down. I may bring this down a little bit in here. So yeah, maybe that'll do it. And this I'll bring back. So now let's have a look at this. Is this working? So it's quite flat there. I mean, maybe I've over-exaggerated it, but anyway, I tell you, I'm going to bring that down even further. So I'm going to knock the whole squash and stretch thing down further still. It feels still kind of excessive. Here's something that's interesting that you can do in Maya. If you want to scale keys down as a oneer or scale them up, is you can highlight all the keys just by left mouse dragging. You get this rectangular selection symbol, and then if you click on the shift mouse button and you middle mouse click and drag, and you make sure you're on the right. I want to be on this scaling icon. So shift middle mouse click. Now watch what happens. I'm going to scale from middle. Watch those curves. See, they're going down. If I want to scale them up, I can scale them up. I'm scaling from the middle. If I want to scale from higher up, I scale from here. But it's not where I want to go. I want to scale from the middle. I want to scale them down a little bit. I want to make them a little less present. I just want it to be there, but not to be amazingly visible. Okay, now if I go back and I look at this, I'm just going to take away this motion trail, show motion trail. I'm going to take that away. I'm just going to have a look at this now. And that looks a little bit better, a little bit more naturalistic. Okay, so we're almost there, yeah? Okay, so like I said, you can always go into this show menu and you've got all these things. I mean, most of these things are not even in the scene, but you know, they're listed. I mean, if I get rid of them all, I see nothing. If I bring back nerves, curves, I see the controls. If I bring back the polygons, because that's what it's made out of, I see the geometry. And if I want to see the motion trails, then that's there. I mean, this essentially is what's in this particular scene. So a lot of the other things that are ticked don't even exist in this particular scene. Okay, so we've got this. I'm just going to untick the motion trails. And we're almost there. I mean, this is almost working. But what it needs, just to set it off, make it a little bit better, is it needs, you know, the ball is rolling in a dead straight line, which is kind of unlikely. If you let something roll, the chances are is it wouldn't just roll in a completely straight line unless the surface was completely even, which is highly unlikely. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it to roll maybe slightly to the left, and I'm going to show, and I'm going to go to motion trails, and I'm going to make it slightly to the left. And to do that is very simple. We haven't animated at all. I'll go to show and also bring in my nerves curves for my controls. Now selecting this control here, the middle control, we have not animated at all in the x-axis. You can see the x-axis is essentially a straight line. There's been no animation there. So what I'm going to do is, we've got 2 points here. We've got the point where the ball, I'm just going to, let's see, where does the ball finish again? It finishes on frame 87. So I'm going to go to frame 87 on the x-axis, and I'm going to select one of the keys and go to keys, insert key tool, and I'm just going to put a key there. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that key and I'm going to pull it a little bit to this side, maybe a little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah. So that you can see, now it hasn't updated the motion trail, which is a bit annoying, but if I go visualize editable motion trail, you see we've got this kind of drift, which is what I want. You see this like drift to one side? I'm going to put it a little bit further, and then we're going to go visualize. Yeah, and yeah, so we've got this kind of drift slightly to the side, which is what I want. So we've got the ball rolling like this, which I think is a bit more naturalistic than simply having a ball rolling in a straight line. You know, you're trying to mimic reality. So does it mimic reality? Now, there is aspects to this that we still need. It's slipping a little bit. We still need to deal with. And one is to roll to one side. There needs to be some rotation in this Z axis too, yeah? Not simply the X, the one at the front. You know, the red forward rolling axis. There needs to be some in this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of rotation. I'm going to go back to the graph editor. So from here where it starts to rotate from frame 32 to frame 87, I'm going to go to the Z axis, 32, I need to go to 87. Again, we're going to select one point on this line, we're going to go to keys, and I'm going to go to the insert key tool, and I just want to have a little bit of rotation in the Z, sorry. So I press on the translate tool. I've got to make sure I'm rotating in the right direction here, and I'm going to rotate. Oh, sorry, it's a wrong line. It's the y-axis. I thought it was the Z. Now, for this is an interesting point. One thing that's happening as the ball is rotating is the axis, the Z-axis, is changing. Look at it. See, there the Z-axis here, here it's here, here it's here. So the Z-axis is actually changing all the time. Now, we actually want this for the purposes of our roll using this axis across the ball. We want that to stay the same. So we're going to switch from local, if I switch on this, from object to world. Yeah, oops, world. Let's see if I can get this to work again. World. Now, you can see the Z-axis is there, okay? So for this, we have to switch, and it said sometimes you will have to switch between axes. We've got it on the world for this one. And all we're going to do, there's not a lot of rotation in this, so frame 87, we're just going to rotate this around just a little bit, so we get a little bit of rotation on it. That might be too much. It's got to be quite subtle. Have you ever watched bowling balls roll? That might not work. Let's see. No, that's not the one. Let's have a look. That one's not working so well. Wait a minute, put it down a bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit less. Just a little hint of it. There. It's just, you just got to, it's like the ball will always roll principally very much in one axis, but there might be an element of another coming into play as well. So I'm just going to bring this down maybe a little bit more, but it'd be, watch bowling and watch the balls that's coming to a stop, and sometimes you're wondering, oh, that's interesting. So there we go. That, and I get rid of the NURBS curves, and we've got the ball coming down and rolling slightly to the left, and there we go. Looks okay. I mean, the bounces are a little bit, perhaps a little bit, I think the bounces could maybe have a little bit more time to them, maybe not. So then we've got this, The next stage, the final stage, is you can just go to Windows and we can go to Play Blast, and we're going to Play Blast this as a, well, it can be as a QuickTime or image sequence. I'll do mine as an image sequence, but you're probably better doing yours as a QuickTime and saving it. The scale, it could be 50, I'll make mine, I don't know, 75, so 3/4. And don't remove temporary files, we want to save this. We're going to call this ball bouncing. And, oh, almost forgot. Look at me, I haven't even saved. I need to save the scene again. So I'm going to go in and save this version 2 so I don't forget. See how easy it is to forget, especially when you're giving an online lecture. So bouncing ball version 2. Always important to remember which form you're saving it in. Maya comes in 2 forms, ASCII and binary. So make sure you save it in the same form. So Maya binary, I've started in binary, I'll finish. So I'll save that as version 2. I'll continue there. Ball bouncing is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to save this one just so you can see it on my desktop. Yeah, and I'll use JPEGs. Actually no, I'm going to try and save this as a, not as an image file, because that's gonna, I don't want lots of images on my desktop. I'll save it as a QuickTime, and that should, ball bouncing, I'll do it on my desktop. I'll call it ball bouncing, save, play blast this, and it gives a play blast the file, and there we go. And then it should come up here. And this my Maya doesn't have QuickTime. Actually, I don't think I've got QuickTime installed. But anyway, if you've got QuickTime installed or an AVI, you'll get something. You can see in your playlist, you'll get something resembling that. And yeah, you can just once you've done that and it's all working, just upload it onto the Google Drive on the or actually not on the Google Drive. Better still, upload it onto Facebook as an MP4. And you know, we can have a look at them and comment on them, and you can tell me the things that you find difficult. Okay, see you later.